We're going to just jump right into today's meal prep. So I am going to start off with making some turkey chili. You need some ground turkey. So I'm just going to use a pound of this, so 16 ounces of this. We need 2 cans of fire roasted diced tomatoes. I do suggest the fire roasted. It just tastes better to me in the chili, but you can use any kind of diced tomatoes that you would like. I'm going to do some black beans and some red beans, also some bell peppers. I do prefer green bell peppers, but my store was out. Really odd. Normally I make my own seasoning, but I wasn't sure if I had any chili powder at home, so I went ahead and just got a chili seasoning. I'm going to add some corn, but I do like to add some smoked paprika to my chili. Also some minced garlic, and then like I said, I'll put some corn in there as well as some tomato paste and also some diced up onion. So with tomato paste, I usually use just a couple tablespoons of that. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm also going to use some of this Kinder's roasted garlic salt. I just really like the flavor of this. So I'm going to add that along with the Kinder's, the blend. And I'm going to put some of that in there with the ground turkey because we all know ground turkey can be really flavorless. I'm going to add the veggies in when the ground turkey is about halfway cooked. So we're going to add the onions and the peppers to that. And we're just going to also add in some of the minced garlic. So I don't ever, I just kind of measure with my heart when it comes to garlic. And we're just going to go ahead and saute up the rest of the turkey and the veggies, and just until they're like softened up a little bit and the turkey is cooked through. Then I'm going to add in some of the chili seasoning here. The chili was kind of a last minute addition to my meal plan. So like I said, I didn't look before I left if I had any chili powder at home. And then I'm just going to sprinkle on some of this smoked paprika. I love the taste of this in chili. It is so good. So I'm going to put that in there while I am still cooking up the meat and the veggies because I really like the taste of spices when you've heated them up. I feel like it really helps kind of activate them. So I'm going to let this cook probably for as long as it takes for me to open up the tomatoes and the beans and get them all drained. So I did drain and rinse the red kidney beans and the black beans. And the black beans, like they're really light in this. It was super weird. And then we're going to do the 2 cans of the fire roasted tomatoes. I'm going to add in both cans into there. And then next up, just going to squeeze in some of this tomato paste. Like I said, it's usually about 2 tablespoons or so that I put in there, and just kind of cuts the acid in the diced tomatoes. Then we're going to add in some chicken broth so you can see it all stuck in the bottom because I'm using some of the Better Than Bouillon broth. And so I'm just going to kind of scrape that into the container, and it'll kind of dissipate into the mixture. I'm just going to mix all this up really well, and I do like to put mine on the slow cooker because, like I said, with my taco soup last week, the same thing. I just feel like the flavors meld together really well if you do that. So I'm going to put mine on high and cook it for about 3 or 4 hours or so, and then just let it go to warming while I'm finishing up the rest of my housework and stuff for the day. I almost forgot to add the corn in there. So we're going to add in some corn. I usually use about half of the bag of frozen corn. And then go ahead and stir it up again. And this time, if you're putting it in your slow cooker, then I would do it if I either low for 6 to 8 hours or high for 3 to 4 hours. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. And then I like to serve mine with these Good Thins. Now they have the regular corn ones, or they have these jalapeno and lime ones, which those are the ones I suggest. They're really good. You can add sour cream on this. You could add chili. You could add jalapenos. So many things to add to chili. I did want to also add, for those of you that follow more of a lower carb diet and you don't want the beans in there, when I was on keto and also did low carb, I left the beans out of my chili and I added in more meat. So it added more protein. So I used like either stew meat. I also put bacon in mine. So I would do like turkey, stew meat, and bacon. So I do like a 3 meat chili, and then left out the beans. And then it still was super chunky and it still had the veggies in there. So if you want to keep this lower carb and higher protein, you could do that as well. So I just wanted to kind of give that option out there because even though I'm not doing low carb or keto anymore, I would still like it that way because it tastes fantastic. This chili serves 6 people and it is 4 points per serving. If you use the 0%, 99%, whatever fat-free turkey, then it would only be 0 points more than likely. Next up, we're going to make some mini turkey meatloaf. So I'm going to weigh this turkey out to get 20 ounces. And you need 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. You need some ketchup. I'm going to use some of these seasoning along with the minced onion. We have some egg, 1/3 of a cup of old-fashioned rolled oats, and then the turkey. So sometimes I add also shredded zucchini to this instead of the oats that kind of acts as a binder. And then our topping is going to have ketchup and Worcestershire as well. So we're going to put everything in our bowl here. I used a 1/4 cup of ketchup, a 1/3 of a cup of the oatmeal, and then 20 ounces of the turkey. So then I'm going to mix all this up and we're going to put some loaves together. So I'm also going to add some thyme, just add a little bit more flavor. You can use whatever seasoning you like. You can make this in Italian, you can do it Greek, you can do whatever. Then I like to weigh mine out. So I have 989 grams. I'm going to divide that by 4. So I have 4 equal loaves. I'm going to make a little topping. So I have another 1/4 cup of ketchup here. I'm sorry, 3 tablespoons of ketchup. And then some Worcestershire. I'm going to mix that together and I'm going to put it on my loaves. But I did make each loaf equal size. So that's why I love weighing out the entire batch. So just take a brush and then you're just going to brush the mixture on there, which you don't use it all. So if you don't use it all, it's not a big deal. I mean, but so don't, you don't need to put a ton on there. But I usually use pretty much all of this, but it's 3 tablespoons of sugar-free ketchup and a tablespoon of Worcestershire. I really love the taste of Worcester. Some people don't, so if you don't like it, you can leave it out, or you can just put a lot less than I do, but I love the taste of it, so I like to put more in there. And then you're going to put that all over the top, and here are your turkey meatloafs. Now, I have the original recipe. I will link it down below. It's a skinny taste recipe, and I've used this one for years. Like I said, the only change I've ever made is added some shredded zucchini in there. This is going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, and then they should come out like this. Now, I checked mine after 20 minutes, and they were not done in the middle. I used a meat thermometer. So I did have to put them in there for another 10 minutes. So it came out at 30 minutes and they are so juicy. That's why I do suggest using the 93% ground turkey, because the 99% can be a little bit drier, but you could put zucchini in there and then it comes out a lot moister. So these come out to 6 points per loaf with the ingredients that I used here that you see. You could cut that down a lot lower. Again, if you did not use the oatmeal, maybe you used zucchini instead as your binder, then it would only be 4 points. If you use the 0% ground turkey, then you could actually probably get a 0-point meatloaf out of this. Now, when you make these on a sheet pan, if you're having them the same day, you could go ahead and throw some veggies on there. The original recipe does show like putting broccoli on there with it, but since I'm meal prepping these, I don't like to meal prep cooked broccoli ahead of time. I don't like the taste of it, and I have a ton of like veggies in my freezer that I plan on just heating up and having alongside of this. You can also cut these up and put them in a bowl, cut them up and put them, in like a salad. I mean, you can do so many things with these little mini meatloafs. They're so great to have on hand for meal prep. I'll have them for lunch and for dinner. I will have the original recipe linked down below. Next up, we're going to make some egg muffin cups. So I have 5 eggs here. I have some egg whites. I have some reduced fat Mexican style cheese. We have some bell peppers. We have some seasoning here. You can use whatever seasoning you like. I have 1.5 cups of the Ore-Ida hash browns with the peppers and onions. We have some of this buffalo style chicken breast. I had planned on making breakfast sandwiches, but for some reason at the last minute, egg muffin cups just sounded a lot better. Now, one thing I did do is I did thaw out the hash browns because I thought if they were frozen, they would release too much moisture while they were cooking. So I completely thawed them out and just made sure there was not a lot of moisture on them. I did weigh out enough cheese to do 14 grams, which is a half of the serving. So 28 grams is a serving of the cheese. So I did 14 grams for each of the muffin cups. So I did weigh that out. I did a 1/4 cup of the egg whites along with the 5 eggs that you see here. And I did 6 slices of the buffalo style chicken breast. 3 slices is 1 point. So I have also some of this buttery steakhouse Kinder seasoning that I put in there. So I have my 6 slices of meat cut up. I have my bell peppers. I have my thawed out hash browns, my cheese that, like I said, I weighed out enough to do 12 cups times 14 grams. And now we're going to start putting everything together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the hash browns. So I'm going to do an 1/8 of a cup in each one of them. So you see here, 1/8 of a cup in each one of these. I did spray my silicone pan with some cooking spray. Next up, we're going to do the bell peppers. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle those all over because, again, those are 0 points. So you can see here, I just have some bell peppers in each one. And next up, we are going to do the meat. So this is not going to be as weighed out as, everything else, but I did use 6 slices total for all 12. But like I said, 3 slices is 1 point. And then the cheese, I am going to weigh this out to do 14 grams on each of the muffin cups. And here's the cheese. And then lastly, of course, we're just going to pour in the egg mixture. So I usually take a spoon as I'm pouring it and just kind of push down the muffin cup a little bit. That way it kind of just goes all around everything. And now these are going to go into a 400-degree oven, and mine end up taking about 25 minutes total. It's just going to depend on your oven, how hot you cook it at. But the 25 minutes seem to be perfect. And like I said, just kind of check them to see if they're cooked all the way through. If there's a little bit of runniness, that's okay because they will still continue cooking, but you don't want them to be really jiggly. So you want them to kind of look like this. So this is what they look like when they came out. 2 cups is 4 points with everything that I used here. Now, of course, if you use different meat, different cheese, make sure you plug it into your tracker. But for me, 2 of these muffin cups will be 4 points. And that is everything I made this week for meal prep. So I have some chili, I have the meatloafs, I have my breakfast. So I have like kind of basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner all sewed up for this entire week. And I have other things that I'll be sharing with you guys in my weekly or daily, whatever I end up doing for what I eat in the day videos. You'll see some dinners that I'm going to be planning and having, and you guys will see how I put all these meals together. Thank you so much as always for taking time out of your day to watch my videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.